Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. Hope you enjoy. Story number 1. Humans Are, written by Bounty Hunter Master. Humans are strange. We found the humans on an evacuation mission from the Voxtaxian Scourge, whom has claimed many of our systems already. They live on a single temperate terrestrial planet orbiting a yellow dwarf. We took pity on them and delivered them several light engines in hopes that they could build ships and escape. They were quite weird upon first contact, wherein some wanted to worship us as gods. A few didn't care much for our presence. A couple wanted to dissect us. There were even those who wanted to, copulate with us. Needless to say, we explained about the Votaxians and got out of there as fast as possible. We could only hope that they understood the message and made it out in time. Humans are, competent. When we next saw the humans, they had built several void arcs. By the looks of them, it wasn't enough to save them all, and by the damage they had, only escaped by the skin of their teeth. We all felt their pain, though, their faces that day as they thanked us for the engines and warning. The humans resettled on another temperate terrestrial planet, away from the front lines, refusing offerings of shelter, claiming to want a new place to call home. Their resettlement went well, and they were back to where they were when we found them. However, by then, it was too late. A fire had been lit. Humans are stupid and spiteful. We had mostly left the humans alone, and they had colonized several planets now. We found them next on the front lines, several small groups of them. Out of sense and out of duty, pity, and pride, we tried to keep them safe, but they were slaughtered like cattle. More of them showed up only to show the same result. They killed Votaxian this time, however. We shipped the corpses back to them and showed the solidarity and respect. They tore it apart and asked for more. We had never seen such hatred before and agreed, provided they let us do the fighting from now on. We couldn't let them get eradicated like this so many more before. Humans are scary. Every time we delivered a corpse, they thanked us and did all manner of things to it, as though they were alive, like it was some kind of repentance ritual. We never thought that they'd break our pact and join the front again, but this time it was the Votaxians who suffered. The humans were not being idle, as we thought. They had made weapons. They called them atomic rifles. Uranium-powered projectile weapons capable of punching through any kinetic barrier and actually harming the incorporeal body parts of the Votaxians that were such hassles. Until now, defending ourselves is a matter of knowing where to aim, luck, and plasma turrets. However, this wasn't what scared us most. It was their reinforcements, a massive fleet of ships led by their void arcs. It was hard to tell, but they had been refitted for combat. In a matter of hours, the Votaxian ships were in various forms of dysfunction, debris fields, or piles of scrap. Humans are ferocious monsters. We had not yet witnessed the true blaze that had come at that earlier fire, that came over the next few years when we pushed back the Votaxians and recovered the cradle world of the humans, but clean the life it once held. The humans were inconsolable for days. The memories of what the world once was played over and over on their vid screens. Days turned into weeks, and the mourning continued. Then a Votaxian fleet entered the system. We had never seen the humans so angry before. The fleet was a debris field in a matter of minutes. Over the next few months of entering another brutal combat, right after the last one ended, we reached the breach. The humans descended on the breach like a beast at prey and passed through it where none could follow. Upon returning, they sent us a message saying, they will never return here again, along with several videos of unfamiliar planets being torn apart to their cores from explosions. We had never seen an entire planet be reduced to a floating rubble, let alone several. We did not show these videos to our people. Humans are strange. The humans had returned to their systems after ending the war. We were not surprised when they contacted us. We were surprised when they invited us to their capital world, and surprised still when they thanked us for our part in the war despite us not even doing that much. We did not see that blazing fire of hatred anymore. It had been replaced with the electric happiness. The humans held celebrations for days. There were humans who wanted to drink liquids with us, humans who wanted to eat, humans who still wanted to copulate with us. They honored us as war heroes for protecting them for so long. We hope that this will lead to a prosperous relationship with the humans. We already know what happens to those that cross them. End of story. Story number 2. An Old Debt, written by Mercury the Dealer. Alexandra marched through the halls of his ship with ease as men and women split to give him space, like a sea splitting before Moses. Much of the crew was beyond his control, but even the most disrespectful of subordinates did not dare stop a captain on his own ship. After a few minutes of walking, he finally reached the bridge where the mutiny was taking place. The captain did not slow down or change his trajectory in the slightest, even as his crew shouted and cried insults aimed at him, humanity, and the grey goo which they had been commanded to attack. The man ordered the ship to raise the floor around him, and soon he stood above the mass of men and women. He gave a silent command, and soon his face and voice boomed through the entire ship in speakers and screens. What I am about to say is not meant to stop you from returning home. As far as I'm concerned, you may do whatever you wish, but I wish to tell you about what humanity has done and how it has shaped you all. The crowd gazed upon him harder. I will start, as is right, with my people, the Desses. When humankind found us, we were dying, choking, as our atmosphere of our planet thickened with pollution. We bled in senseless wars as the tyrants that ruled over us competed over scraps. When the humans entered our planet, they came not as conquerors, but as liberators. They gave us food and water. They cleaned out our air and taught us concepts which we now take for granted. Liberty, democracy, kinship. Humanity saved our home, and we, grateful and subservient, offered all we had in return for these gifts. We asked, no, begged to become a part of their nation. Their response? No. Their reasoning, to annex the species immediately after saving it, would be preying on the weak. A quiet whisper could be heard amongst the crew. Humanity expanded and discovered other planet-bound species which, with the exception of the Dalari, who had turned their planet uninhabitable, were all given aid, but not annexed. Instead, their borders were closed so that the human companies could not flood the markets. Then they declared all systems within 10 hyperjumps of the inhabited planet to be the property of the species of that planet. Many of you, from the Desses to the Gull Lashers, owe your lives to humanity's aid. Aid not fueled by imperialism, but by the simple wish to help others. A low murmur started. 2 centuries after humankind saved my people, they found the Imperium and, like many of you, were disgusted by its ideas. The humans could have stood silently as they watched other species being enslaved and experimented on. They could have simply turned elsewhere for expansion and let us, the uplifted, deal with protecting ourselves. Doing any of these options would have already made them beacons of justice when compared to most other nations in the galaxy. But did they do this? No. Humanity declared war on the Imperium. They broke the chains that bound your ancestors at the cost of their own blood and instigated a revolution which created the base for our nations. From the Ureta, who decapitated their prince while chanting the French anthem, to the Mersicans who stormed the imperial capital screaming, "Vive la Revolution!" Almost all of you owe humanity for the fact that you can sleep easy, knowing that you are an equal to every other species. The murmuring grew. Dezima Prime, Karak, Dainley, Mesopotamia, Orisha 1, all homeworlds which humanity left to their rightful owners without asking for a single credit in return. Their only request being that of the democracy to the newly liberated people. They did not ask for you to become servants, or even allies. Humanity fought, died, and killed in the name of your liberty. Do you wish to show how many of your people died for others? Then I will show how many of them died to liberate you. A number which I am certain outdoes yours by a factor of 10. And now they have asked you for help. Humankind faces an enemy which does not rest or stop. An enemy which, as I speak, approaches Terra with the intent of destroying it. They ask us to stand with them as they fight this monstrosity so that they may evacuate. Like how they fought when we needed to evacuate our worlds under the threat of the Empire. Shouting could be heard throughout the ship. But it seems that you all wish to go with the civilian ships. Then go! The shout of the captain silenced the entire ship. Go back to your families and friends and tell them that when humankind, guardians of the Borneans, Garlash, Crimsomians, Desses, Delari, and all other uplifted, the people that shielded you from the Red Swarm, the Roamers, and the Nanophage, destroyers of the Imperium of Kazi, the liberators of all its enslaved species, founders of the Galactic Peace Council, and the biggest investors in foreign aid in known history. You go and you tell them that when humanity called, you abandoned them under the protection of a single captain, and with a small fleet they could muster, because you were too scared to stand and fight. Perhaps this report of yours will seem glorious in the eyes of your loved ones, and worthy in the eyes of your ancestors. Be gone! The crew exploded in shouts and chants. Men rushed back to their stations, and soon the bridge was in full operation as people desperately tried to make up for lost time. The captain hid his smirk as he heard his staff singing old human battle chants from old revolutions. He called upon the scanners, and soon the entire bridge could see the giant grey ships of what the humans named Grey Goo moving towards Terra. His second in command approached. "Had a speech, sir." "What now, sir?" The captain chuckled. "Now we repay an old debt." End of story. I just quickly want to thank the Tier 5 patrons and channel members: Alithia Barkey, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Albard and Guster, Arcadian, Lord Azrakal, and Joachim Backer.